to touch back on the fact that Simon Bennett and Becca Barnes are leaving Power Rangers. This kind of insinuates like the end of an era, right? You know, for Hasbro, Neo Saban,
for Power Rangers in general, really.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Right. So like my thought now is like, okay, since they are kind of taking this in their own like direction and they're not doing the usual expected types of things that make Power Rangers, and they're giving us something that a lot of fans like ourselves want, something original, something like worth really like going out of our ways to like grow the popularity of the franchise and whatnot. I wonder if they're gonna take it a step further and give us things that we're really not expecting. And I think I'm gonna name one thing, and that's I already mentioned it. It's the idea of connecting to whatever is happening afterwards, right? Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boys back again with another episode of Power Rangers Academia. This time, unfortunately, it's just me and JD. There's no Isaac, there's no Tech, but it is harder to get Tech nowadays, I feel like. But I mean, it's harder to get me. Let me be honest, nowadays. But it is what it is. But really quick before we get started, JD, how you doing, man?
Yeah, it's been rough for all of us, I would say, which is why there's been a big gap in between these episodes. Because in the PR fandom, not a lot has been happening. Right.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it's like life has been crazy. Like I can tell it's been crazy for you, it's been crazy for me. So we're all out of.
Yeah, I
live in life.
Yeah, life is the worst villain for a lot of us. So
yes.
Yeah, so there's really no there hasn't been any like filler type of content to put out on the channel. I know that there's plenty to talk about for Power Rangers, and there's a lot of things that we actually do want to discuss here on this channel to like, you know, further explore the fandom and whatnot. But as of recently, we've pretty much just kind of been waiting for something like new to happen, and I imagine once the new television show starts up again with Cosmic Fury, we're gonna be all over that. And speaking of like new relevant stuff, I mean, kind of gives us more reason to like definitely jump into those comics. So I'm sure sooner than later we will definitely bring you guys some comic discussions and thoughts and whatnot for the new issues that are coming out. So I know that upcoming we do have the Darkest Hour arc coming up, so look forward to those episodes once we get around towards that. But for this, we are here today to talk about what has recently kind of surfaced online on the social spaces. And the one big thing to start is just a few notes on how the flow of Cosmic Fury is actually going to go, with no standalone episodes, only one continuous story, no joke characters or forced comedy segments. And then obviously that clearly means new filler, which would kind of insinuate that there would be like new types of cinematography as well. So JD, how do you feel about all this stuff? I mean, this is kind of big for Power Rangers especially, so let me hear your thoughts.
So like on one hand, right, like it's hard to get fully hyped, right, because it is still at the end of the day, you know, the same cast we saw, the same characters, like the same people working on it.
Yeah.
So I still feel like there's going to be an element of traditional Power Rangers that we're going to be seeing, but I feel like it's going to be really interesting to see what they're going to do now that they're kind of in the same position that Space was and that RPM was, where it's like they're kind of just doing their balls to the wall. We're going to do whatever we want to do last season, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Hearing that there's no filler and that there's just a continuous plot for all 10 episodes is kind of interesting to me, because like I feel like we're so conditioned in Power Rangers to have like these formulaic episodes where it's like, here's the episode where one Ranger learns that teamwork is important, you know, and here's this one episode where, you know, they pick on the bully of the season learns a valuable lesson. But here it's just going to be like, no, we have this one continuous plot, and everything that happens is to getting from point A to point B, you know.
Right.
I kind of think that Fern being the Orange Ranger, like, I don't know if they officially said it, but it's been all but confirmed that Fern is going to be this orange Cosmic Fury Ranger, which is like, I think that's kind of adding to that, right? Because if they want to further that storyline between Izzy and Fern, they could do it while also having Fern on the front lines, you know, and they don't have to deviate away to, you know, have her have some romance plot line on the side, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And I think that this is all like potentially good news. I'm just curious to see like, what does that actually mean in the context of what Dino Fury was and what this whole like Neo Saban / Hasbro hybrid has been, you know? I think like in terms of the cinematography, he mentioned like Simon, he like tweeted out something about like there being this opening shot that they've never done before, where it's like one to like kind of making it seem like it's a one shot, kind of like that Daredevil fight scene. There's a lot of famous one shots now, but yeah, which is like on paper is exciting, and we'll see how that goes. Like I know we've seen a little bit of that fancy stuff in Sentai, and even in Power Rangers to some small degree. But if they're like really making a big deal about it, it's probably interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anything, like I'm just happy that they're trying new stuff. You know, I think that's the biggest takeaway. It's like, hey, go for it. Like if you're gonna go out swing. Like I hope it's good. You know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on a lot of that stuff. I mean, when I see that, or when I saw that this was what's gonna be happening to Cosmic Fury, it made me kind of think and realize, like, okay, well, to go off of the points that you made, it is really true that, I mean, since we haven't seen this happen in a long time, where we're getting like a new season with the previous cast, there is really no reason to have these like lesson based episodes where it's like, oh, let's teach them something else, or let's have them discover. I mean, I'm sure we'll have little bits of that, but I think because, and this kind of ties into like this next big part of like this discussion, is the fact that Simon Bennett and Becca Barnes are moving on after Power Rangers, you know, or after Cosmic Fury is like finished. So once Cosmic Fury is wrapped up, they're no longer going to be on, you know, the Power Rangers side of staffing for, you know, at least the television show and whatnot. So kind of when you combine those two things, you know, with, you know, all of the things that they're not doing, the things that they are doing, and then with this bit of factual information, it kind of does seem like they are in a way taking their own reins and saying like, okay, this is the formula that everyone's used to doing or used to seeing with Power Rangers. And since this is like our last hurrah, we're kind of gonna do it in our way, because, you know, after this, that's it, you know.
Right.
So they're gonna give us something new in a sense, because the last time we even had anything remotely close to this, because if I remember correctly, Cosmic Fury is only gonna be like 10 episodes, right?
Yes, 10 episodes.
Yeah, last time we got a 10 episode season was Alien Ranger.
So, yeah, you're right. You know, and Alien Ranger was treated as like a bridge series to connect Mighty Morphin, or no, to connect Mighty Morphin into Zeo. Yeah. So, you know, that, I mean, Cosmic Fury is not gonna connect anything. At least we don't think so right now. But being that it's a 10 episode series,
and it's using previous cast into this, and it's basically picking up where Dino Fury left off. I mean, I think personally, I don't think these are terrible things. I mean, even like getting rid of stuff that, you know, fans you would expect out of like your average Power Rangers show, I don't think it's gonna hurt, and I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal, especially like things like no filler and no like comedy segments. I mean, like, I get it. People are used to seeing Bulk and Skull type characters, and you know, and I know that. I mean, I don't even remember their names, but like the robot
Jane and J-Borg.
Yeah, J-Borg. Yeah, like it's not that I didn't like them. They were whatever for me, and I was like, okay,
they were passable. Like they weren't the worst comedic duo. Yeah,
exactly. So like it was like, haha, whatever, cool. Like it's there. It's Power Rangers. This is like a part of the charm, the cheese, whatever. But, you know, to know that that's not even going to be there, for me, all that means is, okay, they're taking this a lot more seriously with the limited time that they have to kind of work with. And I feel like that just makes it a lot better, because the story is just continuous, and the episodes are basically going to be like episodic, and it's not standalone, where it's not like monster of the day type stuff. Like, we're actually going to go through like an arc, in a sense, where things are gonna have to happen in order to get to where they need to go. And in this case, it could literally just be like finding Zed and defeating him once and for all. So
and it's crazy because like we talk about this before, but it's like Cobra Kai. Like we've talked about how like the comparisons, or how Power Rangers and Cobra Kai is weird connection. It's like when you think about a season of Cobra Kai is like what, 10 episodes?
Yeah, right? And they're half an hour each.
But a lot happens in each of those episodes. So, and it's like it's briskly paced, but you're like excited watching it, and that's all you really need. And I'm thinking like if we could get a Power Ranger season with that type of pacing, and I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit closer to Once and Always in terms of like the feel of it, because I feel like Once and Always is kind of like a little sliver of like the flavor we're going to be getting. I think that would be cool. Like I'd be down for that. Like, so we'll see. Like I feel like it's been a while now. Like I'm starting to get a little bit of the itch for some new like Ranger related stuff.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how they tackle it. Like I'm here for it. I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna be like cautiously optimistic as always. Else to be. Yeah, like that's all we can really do. Because it still is Power Rangers. It's like, you know, it could be a RPM, but it also could be a, you know, Mega Force. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know, and then I mean, and then obviously to go along with all of that, you know, to touch back on the fact that Simon Bennett and Becca Barnes are leaving Power Rangers. This kind of insinuates like the end of an era, right? You know, for Hasbro, Neo Saban,
for Power Rangers in general, really.
Yeah,
think about it.
Right. So like my thought now is like, okay, since they are kind of taking this in their own like direction, and they're not doing the usual expected types of things that make Power Rangers, and they're giving us something that a lot of fans like ourselves want, something original, something like worth really like going out of our ways to like grow the popularity of the franchise and whatnot. I wonder if they're gonna take it a step further and give us things that we're really not expecting. And I think I'm gonna name one thing, and that's I already mentioned it. It's the idea of connecting to whatever is happening afterwards, right? Yes. Because if that happens, that would actually be really dope, and it would line up like with what I said with how last time we had a 10 episode thing, it connected to the next show, and so I don't believe it's been confirmed or speculated at all anywhere. Personally haven't seen anyone say this. I'm under the belief that Trini's daughter is gonna make some sort of appearance in this, right?
She better. I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah, like, and here's the thing, right? So like, since this is I want to call this a half original show, because they're using the Sentai footage for the Megazords, right? But they're not using any Q Ranger suit footage at all, right? So everything that they're gonna have to shoot in these new suits is all new, all original, which is great, is what we want, right? I also wonder if Trini's daughter, if she's gonna get involved in some way, some capacity at some point. When you think of the name, right, Cosmic Fury, like this is like on a cosmic level of threat that they're gonna have to deal with. A part of me feels like this is their chance to hit the reset button in a way, almost kind of like a Shattered Dimension situation, where it's like whatever's gonna happen at the end, it leaves it completely open, but it also allows them being whoever gets the reins next, to do and to start with the safest thing, and that is Mighty Morphin. Because if you have Trini's daughter right there, she's obviously like, whether it does, she doesn't need to be the leader. I'm not saying that she needs to be the leader. I'm not saying that I want her to be the leader, but like, you already have one of your next cast of, characters, and we all know that they love nostalgia and they love milking Mighty Morphin out the water. And now again, I'm not saying that I want another Mighty Morphin reboot or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all, but I am saying that, thinking of it from a business and a company standpoint, and numbers don't lie, anytime they do anything with Mighty Morphin related anything, it does better than anything that's not Mighty Morphin. And so if they want to take the franchise in new directions, I think by using the poster teens as like your model, like, hey, this is Power Rangers and this is how we're rebooting it, but it's obviously, it's gonna be with familiar suits that you're used to. I mean, that's just one way to think about it, or they don't even need to, and they just kind of still hit this reset button, and whatever happens after is completely new. But it would also be funny, third thing, that once they do hit this reset button, they started using all their Sentais that they never used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of like kind of going along with what you said. I'm feeling like this. Part of me wants it to be like the Flashpoint paradox of power.
Right. Exactly.
Where it's just like something happens at the end that causes some kind of like subtle like change but closure on what we had before, but that kind of leaves the door open for certain characters to exist in the whatever world gets created. Because let's say this new season or this new series begins, I still feel like there would be value in being able to call upon the nostalgia, because I feel like at this point in Power Rangers, like that connected piece is a little bit part of the whole thing. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I do kind of respect the idea that you reboot something. You should reboot it from the ground up and try not to, confuse people by tying it into the past too much. But
yeah.
So it's kind of like a weird slippery slope, but like, if anything, I just hope that it gets some closure. Like, I along with Min, like, I'm sure that there's like room for them to try to do other cameos, since some of the other people were there from while they were doing Once and Always. But at the same time, like, I feel like it'd be a stretch. But like, there's already been rumors. Like, what were the rumors before? Like certain Dino Charge characters or something showing up, or maybe it wasn't Dino Charge, but no, it was Nate, right? Wasn't there like a rumor that Nate was gonna be in the scene? because he was he was basically filming with them. So that's kind of like which would make sense because he is the scientist, right? You know, so
yeah.
I don't know. Like, well, I think that it'll be interesting to see where they go from it. But like, hearing that a lot of the former staff did leave was kind of like, it's expected. Like, I'm not gonna act like I was like upset or sad about it, but it was just one of those things where like reality starts to set in, and like, damn, like after this, like we really are gonna be in uncharted territory for this franchise, because as far as we know right now, this Power Ranger reboot is all talk. Like, we haven't heard anything official really, aside from the fact that it's happening. But all we have is leaks. You know, Jonathan Intles has been really quiet. The writer, what's his name? I forgot. But he's been quiet as well. And the other woman, the showrunner, she's been quiet. We don't have anything. Like, we could go 2 to 3 years without any Power Rangers projects, especially with the writer strike happening.
Oh yeah.
Like it could be a good while before we see Power Rangers, which is like, you know, I feel like in another episode we're just gonna have to talk about, like, you know, like the potential that we're gonna be in this drought of American Power Rangers, aside from the comics. Like, the comics is literally gonna carry like the Power Rangers brand going forward for the foreseeable future.
And I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, because the comics has got
the comics is literally, they have been carrying as it is, you know. For fans like us that want more, that like Boom Studios has delivered every time, you know. Like, not everything has been perfect, like with that one story that came out about the Morphin Masters, but like everything else has been ridiculous. So
yeah, and we'll get to talk about the Boom comics again, but like the current arc is crazy. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But you know, it's cool. Like, you know, I think that, you know, it's been nice having showrunners be so transparent, you know, to their detriment, you know, to where, you know, you see Simon talking about the series all the time, talking to fans, arguing with fans and stuff. And, you know, like Becca's been pretty vocal as well on her end. I've seen just certain things that she worked on and stuff. Even though, like, we all have our grievances with the Neo Saban era, I think that you can still see that they care, but there's always these little restrictions that they've had on them. Now they get a chance to, you know, do their own thing. But what lies ahead, I don't know. But it's gonna be interesting. But it's like the reality that's starting to set in it's gonna be interesting. Binge through like Cosmic Fury in one day, and then we're like Power Rangers for 5 years, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I guess the last thing, I guess, to like wrap this up is it ties into the point that I want to make, is that, you know, fans are gonna have their discourse about just about anything, really. In relation to Cosmic Fury, it's like the weapons and that Zed helmet that dropped, and, you know, the closing point with that is, and just like with what we're talking about, like future proof and, you know, whatever, like, I just, you know, we both don't want a drought to happen. We obviously want the best for Power Rangers, but we have to wait and see. So yeah, we can't, and I say this to a lot of people, like, don't judge something before it is officially shown in how it was intended to be shown, because that Zed helmet, for all you know, is like a morphed or transformed or powered up version of the Lord Zed that we are used to seeing, you know. Like, the fact that we even saw it is like, okay, like, we saw it was, you know, clear ass image, it's fine, whatever. Like, it's definitely different, it's not the original Zed helmet, but that doesn't immediately mean that that's the new Zed going forward. Like, if you remember, we saw Zed for Zed. The only difference was was beefed. He was in the gym. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He was beefed up, obviously, with a different voice actor because the original one passed. And
you know that they changed the actor again, because the voice actor that did the voice in Dino Fury got harassed so much that he just didn't come back with the voice, so there's another person.
Wow. Well, that's unfortunate to hear, and that's really sad. I like that sucks. I feel bad for that actor. And it really just this is the part where I kind of insert my my whole 2 cents with just like how with just about every thing I am into a lot, like Power Rangers, with anime and like superheroes and comics, like I don't even associate with like the fandom as much just because of stuff like that, because it's just like I don't understand how people can just be so mean and just assholes in general online, especially to the folks that are like performing. Like I don't know, like
like there's a difference between being critical, like, because you know, being here we'll have opinions, we'll talk shit. Like if Isaac was here, I'm sure like Isaac is very like opinionated person sometimes, but at the same time he's not gonna go out there and berate the actors because he thought something was corny or whatever. You know, just like you say your shit, and then you know, but you just leave it at that because it's a show at the end of the day. You know, it's a kid show.
Exactly.
But I don't know. Like I feel like with a lot of fandoms, like you say, like the people don't really know how to distance themselves from what they identify with. And a lot of the times, like, you know, I consider myself a Power Rangers fanatic just as you, right? But it doesn't, you know, I can live with the fact that not everything is going to be how I want it to be, right? I could just be like, oh, well, okay, well, I guess I'll see. I don't know. Like, there's no point in getting all riled up. And I feel like, if anything, people are going to complain no matter what. Right?
That is a fact.
Because if you know, people complain when things are the same, people complain when things are different, people just like to complain. But then on top of that, like, you haven't seen it, wait and see. And I know that people are scared because the franchise is at this very critical point where, like, you know, like I was saying, we don't know where it's going to be. So people are just kind of afraid, and people want it to go out on a high note. So anything that kind of deviates from that, people are just looking for a reason to kind of jump on, like, start complaining. That's when you get the suits, you get this helmet, you get more fur. Like, they're criticizing Simon Bennett, how he ran the last couple of seasons. I'm just like, yo, just chill. Like, we'll see the thing. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, oh well. Like, it's not going to erase the good seasons just because this one's bad.
Right.
Like, it's like, if you really want to go out on a high note and Cosmic Fury doesn't satisfy you, just go rewatch Power Rangers in space. Or, you know, like,
seriously,
you'll be like, you will feel good, and you'll feel nostalgic, and then you'll get the, you know, you'll still have that feeling of completion. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So, and all in all, guys, we're gonna have to wait and see. But obviously, just to touch on some things to look forward to here at Power Rangers Academia. Until we have any other kind of like updates or anything that may come out as far as like news related things to Cosmic Fury or anything with staffing, like, I don't think we're gonna really go out of our way to make any videos for any new Lightning figure collections, because it's like, let's face it, unless something ridiculous happens that is worth talking about, you know, we'll just kind of throw it in another video that happens as like one of those honorable mentions. If they do a fan fest, I guess, whatever. But I guess in the meantime, until Cosmic Fury does come out, look forward to some comic book related updates, some discussions, reviews, reactions, and whatnot. From at least JD and I know that Isaac, he doesn't care for spoilers, so he just wants the details anyway. So like, and I mean, was it Tech? I don't even know if he's been caught up or if he ever started to get caught up again, because Mans has been stalling that for so long.
If anything, he'll just hear, you know, because I'm sure some of the stuff he'll want to hear about.
Right, yeah. So like all in all, guys, that's gonna be some really fun discussions coming up to look forward to. In case anyone was wondering, if we're definitely still here, we're still alive. But again, life is the biggest villain that is keeping us from just putting out more content on the channel. So in any case, make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves. May the power protect you. Keep it locked, loaded right here on Power Rangers Academia. Take care. Like, share, subscribe. Hit us up. Links in the description. And we'll see y'all next time.